Hello, guys, welcome to the first episode of the Budget EDH. I am your host Sir Brian of Nuj Channel, glad to have you here. What is our purpose? This channel going to teach you to build fun, themed, strategic, and inexpensive commander tech decks that would not exceed $75. A themed and strategic commander decks are focused than a casual deck but not quite to the level of the competitive deck. If you want more information about power level commander decks, please watch the episode 217 and 295 of the Command Zone. They explain it very cautiously and rate on that episodes. What is our budget? Our budget on each commander tech deck will be less than $75 for 100 cards. Each card will be $1.50 or less that could be set to our parameters. Okay, you know the rules of the channel, let's introduce our first commander tech deck. It's Kediss, the Emberclaw Familiar and Rograkh, son of Rogahh. There is a partner commander. Partner mechanic is you can have two commanders if both have partner. Alright, let's jump to the card. Kediss costs 1 colorless mana, 1 red mana, and a 1/1. Legendary creature elemental lizard that has whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. Kediss won't deal commander damage on his ability but could damage our opponents till there is no more life left to them. While Rograkh costs 0 and a 0/1, with an ability of First Strike, Menace, and Trample. What's our themed and strategy? Our strategy is Voltron with a SemiGroup Hug burn themed. How do we win it? Where we could attach equipment, enchantments, and other combat tricks that could enhance the power of our commanders and deal 21 commander damage, and can drain more damage to each of our opponents. As for SemiGroup Hug, we will put some generals that could help and speed up the draining damage to each of our opponents. I have broken down a list of the campaigns that show you how this commander tech deck works and how to win on it. Okay. Let's run our strategic campaign. Campaign number 1, Search of Mana. We want to establish our commander with mana so that we could play our commander and equip the equipment on it. Let's get started. We have Fire Diamond taps for red mana. Heraldic Banner enters the battlefield, choose a color, creatures you control of the chosen color get +1/+0 and can tap 1 mana of the chosen color. This gives a boost to our red creature too. Iron Myr is an artifact creature Myr that taps for red mana. Next is Darksteel Ingot is an indestructible artifact that taps for any color of choice. Commander Sphere can tap for 1 mana though depends on the commander's color identity and can be sacrificed, and you draw a card. Mind Stone taps for 1 colorless mana and you pay 1 mana, tap, sacrifice Mind Stone, and you draw a card. Palladium Myr is an artifact creature Myr that taps 2 colorless mana, same as Hedron Archive but by tapping 2 mana, tap it, sacrifice Hedron Archive, and you draw 2 cards. They are the same providing these 2 colorless mana for the equipment cost. Everflowing Chalice is a 0-cost artifact but has a multi-kicker for 2, when paid you to put a charge counter on it for each time it was kicked and can add colorless mana for each counter on Everflowing Chalice. If we multi-kicked it more than 3 times we could have a ton of mana. Burnished Hart is an artifact creature elk, pay 3 sacrifice Burnished Hart and search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, and put it on the battlefield but it is tapped. Yes, this could be a setter for our mana as well. Now we know how to expand our mana, let's go to our next campaign. Campaign number 2, Fighting for Knowledge. Here we draw a bunch of cards that could set the tone on our strategy and for the battlefield as well. First, we got Seer's Sundial. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2 mana. If you do, draw a card. A slow kind of draw, but if we could hit our lands every turn, this will massively help. Mask of Memory that draws you 2 cards when you dealt combat damage and discards 1 card. The equip cost is 1. Zephyr Boots is the same as Mask of Memory but draws you only 1 card and you discard a card, but equipped creature has flying, giving our commander flying that is able so that we could deal more damage to our opponents and can end the game quickly. The equip cost of Zephyr Boots is 2. Next is Rogue's Gloves. When equipped creature dealt damage, you draw a card. No downside to this equipment, and the equipment cost is 2 also. Next is a tricky kind of draw card, and this is Key to the City. Tap, discard a card, the target creature can't be blocked this turn. How nice is that? Giving unblockable to a creature or a commander. The next ability will be, whenever Key to the City becomes untapped, you may pay 2 if you do. Draw a card. Wow! That's a card, gives unblockable when discarding but also refuels your hand. Nice. Next is Seize the Spoils. Unexpected Windfall, and Pirate's Pillage has the same ability that as an additional cost, discard a card. Then draw 2 cards and create 2 colorless treasure tokens that can give you any color mana, when sacrificed. How about that? That's value. Next is Catharatic Reunion and Thrill the Possibility, the same ability of the 2 on the concept of by discarding a card you could refuel it by drawing a card. Knowing our strategy on getting tons of cards, we will move forward to the next campaign. Campaign number 3, Clear the Path. In this campaign, we will be removing the blockers and other things that could mess on a play or can mess things on our opponents. Let's jump to it. Soul's Fire, Fall of the Hammer, and Tail Slash have the same ability that the target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. If your commander or creature has more power, we could easily remove creatures that are blocking our ways. Next is Abrade. Choose one, deals 3 damage to the target creature, or destroy target artifact. Galvanic Blast deals 2 damage to any target, but it can deal 4 damage when it is Metalcraft. Smash to Smithereens can destroy artifacts, but the upside is it can deal 3 damage to that artifact's controller. Next is Shock, which deals 2 damage to any target. Next is a nasty card for those who gain a lot of life. It is Punishing Fire. When you cast it, Punishing Fire, it deals 2 damage to the target or player, but wait, there's more. Whenever an opponent gains life, you may 1 red mana. If you do, return Punishing Fire from your graveyard to your hand. Now you could clear more creatures that block our ways or deal more damage to one of our opponents. Lightning Strike deals 3 damage to a creature or player. Same as Incinerate, but a creature dealt damage this way can't be regenerated this turn. Now we know how to make a path to deal damage to our opponents. How about more clearing? Let's proceed to campaign number 4. Campaign number 4, Wraths. On this campaign, here is worst comes to the worst scenario that could restart the board and regain the war for the victory. The first Wrath card will be Hour of Devastation. All creature loses indestructible until end of turn. Hour of Devastation deals 5 damage to each creature and each non-bolus planeswalker. It is an anti-indestructible that could clear for us and other planeswalker decks. The next card is By Force. Pay X and destroy X target artifacts. Next is Chain Reaction, another nasty card that could wipe the board quickly. Just paying 4 mana, Chain Reaction deals X damage to each creature, where X is the number of creatures on the battlefield. The more creatures, the more the damage. The last wrath will be Magmaquake. Just pay X red mana. Magmaquake deals X damage to each creature without flying and each planeswalker. Another anti-planeswalker deck. Let's move on to our next campaign, and our spotlight for this deck. Campaign number 5, The Loyal Generals. Generals are the commanding officers at war, and they do their best to win and support their commander. But in every war, these generals that even without their commander on the battlefield could win wars. Let's start with Torbran, Thane of Redfell, a 1 red to cast legendary creature, Dwarf Noble. Has an ability of if a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +2 instead. Yes, adding 2 to all red damage sources is punishing. But wait, there's more cards with this ability. Next, we got Emberclaw Hellion, 3 red, creature Hellion, trample, and if another red source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1 to that permanent or player instead. Adding more firepower is Jaya, Venerated Fire Mage, 4 red to cast, Planeswalker Jaya with 5 loyalty counters with an ability of if another red source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1 to that permanent or player instead. Next is Harsh Mentor, a 1 red cost, creature human cleric with an ability whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land on the battlefield, it isn't a mana ability, Harsh Mentor deals 2 damage to that player. Same with Immolation Shaman that costs 1 and a red, creature Viashino Shaman with an ability of whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land that isn't a mana ability, Immolation Shaman deals 1 damage to that player. Additional ability, pay 3 red, Immolation Shaman gets +3/+3 and gains menace until end of turn. Next is Tectonic Giant, casts 2 red, creature elemental giant that whenever Tectonic Giant attacks or become the target of a spell an opponent controls, choose 1, Tectonic Giant deals 3 damage to each opponent. Or exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Next is we go wide with these generals, Valduke, Keeper of the Flame. 2R, legendary creature human shaman, has an ability of at the beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Valduke, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. The more damage dealers we could easily take down an opponent. Same with Valduke, we have Tylonalli's Summoner, cast 1 red, with Ascend, and whenever Tylonalli attacks, you may pay X and a red. If you do, create X/1/1 red elemental creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. At the beginning of the next end step, exile those tokens unless you have the city's blessing. The more tokens, the more threats will be. Now we know our generals. Let us proceed to the next campaign. Campaign number 6, The Vault. On this campaign, we will be having the weapons that will equip us to victory. Let's start with Ring of Valkyrs. Equipped creature gains haste, and at the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on an equipped creature if it's red. Ready to pump some more. We will have Armory of Erois. Whenever equipped creature attacks, put +1/+1 counter on it. These cards have a maintain pump to stabilize counter on our commander. Blackblade Reforged is one of the best pieces of equipment on this deck. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control, and if the creature is legendary it is a big discount on its equipment cost. Next is Fiendlash, Equipped creatures get +2/+0 and has reach. The second ability is whenever an equipped creature is dealt damage, it deals damage equal to its power to the target player or planeswalker. Equip cost is 2 and a red. Next is Blazing Sunsteel, the equipped creature that gets +1/+0 for each opponent you have. The second ability is whenever an equipped creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. Equip 4. Fiend Lash and Blazing Sunsteel are a little bit similar, but one thing is for sure. They can do damage more on player, creature, and planeswalker. Next is Scavenged Blade, Hero's Blade, Dueling Rapier, and Relic Axe are the same. When enters to the battlefield, attach it to the target creature. Next are situational weapons that could last our war or make it faster to our goal to victory. First will be Loxodon Warhammer, the equipped creature that gets +3/+0, and has lifelink and trample. Equip cost of 3. With this equipment we are gaining a ton of life. Next is Vorak Battlehorns, the equipped creature has trample and can't be blocked by more than one creature. With this ability and menace, your creature will be unblockable. Then Fire Shrieker, the equipped creature has a double strike. One of our end gamer equipment. We now know our armory, let's proceed to our final campaign. Campaign number 7, Blessings Before the War. Each war they are given protections, equipment, chants, and/or unexpected blessings that could win us wars. Now we will talk about these cards that could give protection on our commanders and creatures. First will be Brass Squire, 3 to cast Artifact Creature Myr. Tap, attach target equipment you control to target creature you control. With this ability we could cheat the equip cost. Next is Foundry Inspector and Joyra's Familiar, their ability is the same, reducing our equipment cost by 1 so that it could be cheap for us to cast. Next is Bolt Bend and Wild Ricochet, their ability is to change the target of the target spell or changing the direction that targets our creature. This could defend and protect our commander. One more card to add to protection to our commander is Mask of Avacyn, equipped creature gets +1/+2 and hexproof with an equip cost of 3. Lastly, Tuk-Tuk Rubble 4 and Crushing Drawbridge can give us haste. Now we are nearly done. Let's take a look at our mana base. Our mana base will be consisting 33 mountains, Evolving Wilds can search us the right man and shuffle our deck, Opal Palace can give your commander +1/+1 if you cast it on its ability, and Rogue's Passage can give unblockable to our target creature. Price check. Now we know our campaigns, we are ready to go to war. But first we'll check the total price for this deck through TCG Player Optimization, and the total cost for this deck is $20.46. And with that wraps up our show. Just to say a quick thank you to all for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like it and then also subscribe to the channel, so that you will be updated with our future episodes. In the description you'll find a link to the Kediss and Rograkh Commander Tech deck, as well as the links to Facebook and Instagram for the pages of Budget EDH. Feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, suggestions, or if you want to chat. Also in the description you'll find the link for the Patreon page for the Budget EDH. It's definitely not necessary to donate, but much appreciated. And there are benefits for those of you that do contribute. Alright, that's all for me today. Your hosts are Brian of the Nuj Channel. Thank you for watching.